Hello, class 11. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I'm Dr. Bhawani Adhikari. I have brought the story for you to understand and interpret it today. The title of the story is The Selfish Giant. It is written by Oscar Wilde. The Selfish Giant is a short story written by Oscar Wilde. The story is about a giant who learned an important lesson about love, sharing, and caring for innocent school children. The selfish giant had a beautiful and lovely garden. Every afternoon, the school children used to go and play in the giant's garden. There were beautiful flowers like the stars and 12 peach trees. The birds sat on the trees and sang the song so sweetly, and the children used to stop their games to listen to the song of the birds. The children were happy for 7 years. But the selfish giant returned home from his friend's home after 7 years and did not allow the school children, to play in his garden. He made the compound wall around the garden and put the notice, "Trespassers will be prosecuted." It was the notice, and there was a high compound wall. The children, the school children wandered around the high wall, and they had nowhere to play. When the children were not allowed to come and play in the garden, the birds too did not come there. There was always winter, and spring also did not come into the garden. The trees forgot to blossom, and even the flowers put their heads down in the grass as they did not see the children in the garden. There were only snow, frost, hail, and north wind in the garden, and spring outside the garden. It means spring was outside the garden. It did not come inside the garden when the children were not there. The giant was unhappy and did not know why his garden did not have spring, song of the birds, fruit, and flowers, and only winter with snow, frost, and hail. Just he got surprised. One day the children entered the giant's garden. Through a hole there was a small hole, and there was a spring. Birds came inside, flowers started blooming, and fruit came at once, and the giant went down to the garden from his house. All the children ran out of the garden because they were afraid, they were scared. And in the spring, in the spring, singing birds too went out of the garden. But one boy was under the tree in the corner of the garden. That boy was unable to go. His eyes were covered with tears. He was sitting under the tree, and that particular tree was without still winter. There was no just spring. The giant went to him and helped him to climb the tree. The giant did not just punish him, rather help him, and just the child got into the tree, and the tree got again spring. The children saw the giant loving the boy and came in the garden again from outside the wall. The giant loved the children. He started to play with the children. People got surprised by it, but the child whom the giant loved did not come, and the children too did not know him. The giant went on seeking him, but he was not found anywhere. Means that the giant was fallen in love with the child, and he wanted to meet him. He always asked with the children, but the children did not know him because that child was not the school children of their school, and he was not the friend of them. So the giant was sad and unhappy not to find his friend. When the giant was old, he saw the loving child of the giant and went to him. Yes, the child alone came there and he went there. He saw the wounds, not wings, wounds of two nails in his palms, wounds, wounds, and two nails on his legs. The giant asked about it, and the child told him that they were the wounds of love, because the giant wanted to punish the person who wounded him. And the giant did not know that that child was the God Christ. Then the giant knew that the child was the God Christ. The child told him that once the giant had allowed him to play in his garden, and now the child had come to take the giant in the garden of paradise. See, the giant had just got the chance to go to heaven. When the school children came in the garden, they found the dead body of the giant covered with white flowers, because the giant was taken to heaven by the God Christ. The story shows that if we love others, we gain love and respect from them too. It advises that we must love the children who are like the girls. We must not be selfish, as the giant was at the beginning of the story. And we must become kind, loving, helpful, as the giant was found at the end of the story. Loving the children is loving to God. When the giant was selfish to the children, the God Christ had come to punish him in the form of a child. But the giant loved him, and the giant too got the reward of going to heaven as the result of changing a loving one to the school children. If that giant had not loved the children, if that giant had not allowed the children to come in the garden, in that child who had come in the form of a child, the God Christ, to punish him, would have killed him at that time, at the very moment. In this giant changed himself, he became loving, kind to the children, and the reward he got from the God later. So the story advises that we must not be selfish, we must not be unkind, we must be just helpful, loving, and really good one to the innocent children, school children. If we love others, we get the love. If we hate others, we get the hatred. This is a very beautiful story about the human love, kindness, and good deeds for others. This is all about the story. Thank you very much. And you can just watch and then write in your exam. You can use these slides for your exam.